Have you ever stopped to think about the last digit of the year you were born? That final number, that single digit that completes your birth year. It seems insignificant, doesn't it? Just a number between 0 and 9. But according to ancient Buddhist teachings passed down for thousands of years, this digit carries secrets about your life, about your destiny in 2026, about patterns you may not even realize are shaping you right now. Have you ever wondered why certain things always seem to happen to you but not to others? Why you attract the same kinds of relationships that always end in the same way? Why it feels like you are constantly struggling with something invisible, while others seem to flow through life with ease? If you have ever asked yourself these questions, if you felt that something unseen is guiding your life, a pattern repeating without you fully understanding why, then pay close attention to what I'm about to share. Because the answer is not in conventional therapy, it's not in generic self-help books. It is in something far older, far deeper than you can imagine, something you have carried since the day you arrived here. Thousands of years ago, Buddhist monks observed patterns most of us never notice because we are too busy living on autopilot. They saw that people with the same final birth digit shared similar traits, faced similar struggles, and carried life lessons aligned in a remarkable way. And this was not random astrology or empty superstition. It was about energetic vibration, about the spiritual code your soul has held since the moment you entered this world. You know that feeling of being out of place, of not truly fitting in anywhere, even when you try. That sense that something about you is different, something no one can fully explain. Or perhaps the opposite. You may be the one who naturally makes things happen, who leads without trying, who finds it hard to rest because you are always moving, always doing. Whatever your experience, there is a deeper reason for it. It is not a flaw. It is not a weakness. It is not something broken. It is energetic vibration working through you, shaping your choices, your reactions, and your destiny in 2026. You might feel skeptical right now, thinking no number could ever describe who you are. And honestly, that reaction makes sense. But before you dismiss this as coincidence or superstition, try a small experiment. Don't just accept my words. Test them against your own life. Look not only at your number, but also at someone you know deeply, your husband, your wife, your child, or someone you've spent years with. Someone whose personality you truly understand. After you do this, after you hear what the numbers reveal, belief won't come because I said it. It will come because you saw it for yourself. In the next few minutes, I will reveal what the last digit of your birth year means for your destiny in 2026. I will uncover the lessons your soul came to learn, the gifts you carry without realizing it. And most importantly, I will show you how to use this understanding to align your life with who you truly are at the deepest level. If you are here listening to this now, it is because some part of you feels there is more waiting, something greater, something you have not yet fully discovered. Leave a like on this video right now, because this information deserves to reach more people who are lost and searching for answers. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss content that can truly transform the way you see yourself. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from and what the last digit of your birth year is. Because when you discover your true energetic vibration, when you understand why your life follows certain repeating patterns, everything in your experience begins to change. And you're about to step into that awakening right now. Let's begin by revealing what each number means and how it may shape your destiny in 2026. Now, if the last digit of your birth year is 0, you carry one of the most misunderstood, and at the same time, one of the most powerful energies in the universe. Most people believe 0 means nothing, emptiness, or absence. But in Buddhist spiritual understanding, 0 means the opposite. 0 is everything at once. It is both the beginning and the ending happening together. It is the complete cycle. It is the sacred space where anything can be born, because nothing is fixed, because everything is movement and infinite transformation. If your birth year ends in 0, You hold the energy of rebirth, of cycles that close naturally, of creative destruction and constant renewal. And that explains so much about the way your life unfolds. You have likely experienced major phases of change throughout your life. Moments when something had to completely end so something new could take its place. This may have been a drastic career shift, moving to a new place, the ending of deep relationships, or a total change in how you see the world. To people watching from the outside, it may look like instability. It might seem like you can never stay in one place for long. But what is truly happening is very different. Your soul is continually saying, "This no longer serves me. It's time for something new. It's time to evolve." You live in a state of ongoing reinvention that most people cannot keep up with. This constant renewal gives you a flexibility others can only dream of. While those trapped in fixed routines remain in the same place for years, you are always changing, always adjusting, always discovering parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. But let's be honest, this way of living can also be deeply exhausting. You build something and it falls apart. You begin again. You feel inspired, then discouraged, then you try once more. It can feel draining to live at a pace where you never quite feel settled, as if you are always starting over from the beginning. It can create the illusion that you are behind others, always chasing something that never arrives. But here is the truth no one ever explained to you. You are not behind anyone. You are simply moving at the rhythm of your own soul. And your soul came here to learn how to trust the natural flow of life. Even when you don't fully understand the road you're walking, Zero teaches that there is no final ending, only continual transformation. You survived every moment you thought would break you, every time you believed you wouldn't make it. Each new beginning made you stronger, wiser, more real. The people around you have no idea how many times you had to rebuild yourself from nothing. But the fact that you are here right now listening to this is proof that you rose again. And this pattern will continue into 2026 and beyond, because it is who you are at your core. The most beautiful quality of Zero is that it never forces, it invites. It reveals endless possibilities, opens unexpected doors, and creates paths where none seemed to exist before. You feel that you can become anything, that you are still in a state of constant creation, that something meaningful is waiting for you, even if you don't yet know exactly what it is. And that is true, because Zero is the number of infinite potential. Everything is born from it, including the most unlikely dreams you carry in your heart. But to live this fully, you must learn to trust endings when they come. Trust the closing of chapters, and above all, trust the new beginnings that always rise after them. Yes, at times you will feel completely lost, and people will ask if you are truly on the right path. You will see others with clear plans and stable lives while you find yourself rediscovering who you are once again. But that is not weakness, that is courage. It is the courage to release what no longer serves you and rebuild something better, something more aligned with your truth. And in 2026, this energy of transformation will grow even stronger for you. You will feel powerful inner calls to let go of old situations, old connections, and patterns that confine you. If the last digit of your birth year is 0, 2026 will be the year you finally realize that every ending was necessary to bring you here, that every beginning was a blessing hidden inside what once felt like loss, that what looked like instability was actually your greatest strength. Because while others break when life shifts, you transform and continue forward. Embrace this phoenix nature within you. Stop measuring yourself against people who live straight, predictable lives. Your path is spiral, it is cyclical, it is deep. And when you fully accept this, when you stop resisting your own transformative energy, that is when the true magic begins. 2026 can be the year you finally make peace with new beginnings, the year you honor your power to be reborn instead of hiding from it. Because in the end, while others remain trapped in what they have always been, You are always becoming something new, something stronger, something more true. And this is the gift of zero, the eternal freedom to begin again whenever your soul calls for it. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 1, you carry the energy of leadership, initiative, and pure creation. The number 1 is what breaks inertia. It is the courageous first step. It is the one that moves forward when the path is unclear, when no one else dares to move. Those who carry this number often possess an inner strength that is hard to put into words. From an early age, you likely felt that you had to make your own choices, that no one would do it for you, that if something was going to happen, it would be because you made it happen. And somehow, you always did. Because your essence is to create paths where nothing existed before. People with the energy of 1 are often restless, natural visionaries. They perceive things others cannot see, even when those things are right in front of them. And with that comes a quiet pressure inside your chest that is difficult to explain. You feel called to do something meaningful, to leave a mark, to reach beyond what is common and ordinary. Others may have seen you as difficult, too independent, too controlling, or too intense. But beneath all of that is a soul that simply needs to move forward, that refuses stagnation, that was born to break limits and go beyond what others believe is possible. You feel this within you, this constant urgency, this need to always be moving. But with this strength comes a certain weight. Because leading often means walking without a map. It means feeling lonely at times, misunderstood, even rejected by those who cannot match your speed or grasp your vision of what could be. And when this energy is not balanced, it can turn inward and become an impossible pressure on yourself, a harsh perfectionism that freezes you, a distance from others because you unintentionally push them away. Those who carry the number 1 must learn to trust others, to delegate, to share the responsibility, because true leadership is not doing everything alone or carrying the entire world on your shoulders. It is inspiring others to walk with you. It is creating a movement, not standing in one by yourself. The gift of this energy is that it gives you a rare advantage few people have. You do not wait for life to happen. You make life happen. While others are still imagining, you are already acting, already building. While they are endlessly planning, you are already trying, testing, and learning. And even when you fail hard, you rise so quickly that most people never even notice. You learn without instruction, manuals. You turn setbacks into experience, and this is priceless. This is what allows you to grow faster than most. Even when it seems like you are behind everyone else, the truth is, you are simply moving to a different rhythm, on a different frequency. A rhythm that unsettles those who are comfortable staying safe. And that is exactly what makes you a living example, a light in the middle of quiet conformity. The world deeply needs people who are not afraid to begin from nothing. But here is an important reminder for those who carry the number 1. Do not turn your independence into an unbreakable armor. You do not need to prove yourself at every moment. You do not need to be right all the time. You do not need to win every battle. Sometimes real strength is listening. It is asking for help. It is allowing yourself to be seen, even when that feels uncomfortable. You will notice that when you lower your guard consciously, connections grow more genuine, and doors open with far more ease than when you force everything alone. Leadership also means knowing your limits and honoring them. And when you find this balance, when you learn to be powerful without becoming rigid, nothing can truly stop you. You came here to be a lighthouse that guides, not a mirror that only reflects. And in 2026, this leadership energy will be challenged and expanded in ways you may not yet imagine. 2026 will be the year when those born with a 1 at the end of their birth year finally understand that leading does not mean standing ahead alone. It means creating space so others can rise beside you. You will be drawn to greater projects, deeper responsibility, and wider impact. But success will come only if you allow support, if you build a team instead of carrying everything yourself. Your independence is powerful, but it is meant to mature into conscious interdependence. Accept that you are strong, but shared strength is even greater. In 2026, stop proving you can do it alone and start showing that you can do it together. Because when you lead with vulnerability, openness, and humanity, you don't just inspire, you transform everything around you. And that is your true potential. Not standing alone at the top, but lifting everyone around you so they rise with you. Now let's move to the next number, which carries a very different kind of energy. If the last digit of your birth year is 2, you came into this world with a quiet yet incredibly powerful mission: to bring harmony wherever you go. The energy of 2 is the bridge between opposites. It is the one who listens before speaking, who feels far more than others notice at first. Because of this, from a young age, you likely felt different in some way, more sensitive than others, more affected by tension and arguments, more disturbed by heavy or toxic environments. The truth is, your soul arrived with the gift of restoring peace. But this same gift also exposes you to deep suffering because you often absorb emotions that were never yours to carry. People with the number 2 are naturally empathetic. You sense what others are feeling without a single word being spoken. And that can be incredibly beautiful. But it is also deeply exhausting. You suffer for others. You worry constantly. You care almost too much. And many times in life, this led you to shrink yourself, to stay silent so no one would be hurt, to always give in to preserve peace, to remain in places you didn't want to be, simply to avoid conflict. You may feel that you carry the emotional weight of everyone around you, your family, close friends, romantic partners. You try to be the strong ground for others. And even when no one notices or thanks you, you remain there, holding everything together. But inside there are moments when you feel unseen, forgotten, as if the world doesn't recognize your effort. And that pain is real. Yet this pain holds a spiritual message, a call to finally place yourself first, to truly respect yourself, to care for yourself with the same tenderness you give so freely to others. The energy of 2 also carries deep wisdom. You naturally mediate. You understand both sides. You can see the truth behind conflict. That is why people are drawn to you for advice, comfort, and presence. They trust you instinctively. They feel your calm, your softness, your ability to hold space without judgment. But always remember, your mission is not to save anyone. It is to inspire by example, to show that balance is possible without disappearing. This number also speaks strongly of deep bonds, meaningful partnerships, and true emotional connection with others. You thrive in genuine relationships, in real connection, in true love with other human beings. But your greatest challenge is finding bonds built on reciprocity, not emotional dependence. Because those who carry the number 2 often attract people who are wounded, who are searching for rescue, who are looking for somewhere safe to hide. And you give that safety freely. You always do. But if you are not whole within yourself, you can end up losing who you are while trying to heal those who are not ready to heal. So caring for yourself must always come first, because only someone who is whole can offer true love without slowly breaking in the process. There is also a quiet but immense strength inside you that few people truly recognize. Many assume that because you are gentle and kind, you must be weak or easily controlled. But they are mistaken. Your power lives in consistency, in the kindness that remains even in chaos, in the calm you offer when everything else is falling apart. And the world deeply needs people like you, those who unite when others divide, who listen when everyone else is shouting. Never underestimate this. It is one of the most beautiful and necessary missions a soul can carry. If you carry the number 2, your soul has a sacred connection to peace. But always remember this: there is no true peace if you abandon yourself in the process of calming others. Real harmony begins inside you, in your own decisions, your own limits. So look at yourself with the same tenderness you give to the world. Offer yourself the understanding you give so easily to others. Because when you truly value yourself, When you deeply respect who you are, everything around you begins to realign almost effortlessly. The right people appear, draining connections fall away, and you discover that you can be a bridge without being walked on. You can be empathetic without emptying yourself. You can love without disappearing. And in 2026, this lesson will be essential. 2026 will be the year when those born in a year ending in 2 are called to create sacred boundaries without guilt. You will learn that saying no to others is sometimes finally saying yes to yourself. That stepping away from those who drain you is not selfish. It is spiritual survival. And that you deserve the same care and love you so freely give to everyone else. In 2026, your sensitivity will evolve from vulnerability into a true superpower as you learn to consciously protect your energy. You will realize that you can be a bridge between people, but that even bridges need strong foundations, that you can bring harmony to environments, but only when your own inner world is at peace. Accept your sensitivity, because sensitivity guided by boundaries becomes real power. In 2026, release the weights that were never yours to carry and begin honoring the sacred weight of your own journey. Because when you care for yourself with the same devotion you offer to others, you don't just change your life. You become living proof that it is possible to love without losing yourself, to care without exhausting yourself, to give without emptying yourself. And that is the true balance the number 2 came to teach this world. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 3, you carry a vibrant, creative, expansive energy that is almost contagious to those around you. The energy of 3 is about expression, communication, and deep, authentic joy. People with this number often stand out by bringing light wherever they go, through inspiring words, moving art, natural humor, or simply through a magnetic presence. But behind this brightness, there is often a soul that uses joy as emotional armor. Because the 3 feels deeply and lives intensely, everything is amplified inside you. Pain feels stronger, beauty feels more vivid, emotions arrive in powerful waves, life itself feels larger. And to live with this intensity without breaking, the soul creates natural release points, overflowing creativity, dramatic expression, self-irony, constant movement, endless distraction. You may be the one who lifts everyone's mood while hiding your own wounds behind a smile. The one who jokes when inside you are silently asking for help. The one who is always surrounded by people, yet sometimes feels a loneliness you cannot fully explain. The energy of 3 is like a spring that never stops flowing. Brilliant ideas, new projects, bold visions, colorful dreams. But often there is a lack of direction, a lack of grounding. You begin many things with passion, dive in completely, feel inspired, and then quickly lose interest, leaving things unfinished. And this can frustrate you deeply. It can make you doubt yourself, believe you lack discipline, feel as if you never complete what truly matters. But the truth is not that you lack ability, it is that you must learn to guide this creative force, to direct the flow with clarity, without dimming your natural light, but bringing intention into your choices. You were born with the rare gift of expression, of transformative creativity, and of deep emotional sensitivity. You can express yourself through music that moves souls, writing that heals, words that inspire, touch that comforts, even a look that communicates everything. When you speak from truth, people listen. When you create something authentic, something shifts, because your energy reaches others in a subtle yet deeply powerful way. And the world urgently needs this right now. It needs beauty in the middle of chaos, truth in the middle of masks, people who know how to turn the ordinary into something magical. The challenge of the number 3 is not getting lost in shallow distractions, not living only on the bright surface of life. Because you have depth, you carry hidden wisdom, you have stories that matter and need to be shared. But often, to escape emotional pain, you stay only in the colorful, lighter side of things just so you don't have to feel. Seeking joy is not wrong, But when you allow yourself to go inward with courage and real vulnerability, everything changes. Your creations gain soul. Your words gain healing power. Your presence becomes a light that guides others. You are naturally luminous, but even the brightest light has a shadow. And it is completely okay to feel all emotions. It is okay to slow down. It is okay to not be okay sometimes, to stop pretending everything is perfect. This doesn't dim your light. It brings you closer to your truest self. So if you were born under the energy of 3, fully embrace your calling to express, to move energy, to transform reality. Because when you find that balance, when you honor both joy and emotional depth, your life becomes a living work of art. Not something superficial to impress, but something that touches the core of those who truly see, something that leaves a mark that changes people. This is your immense potential waiting to unfold. Accept it without fear. Let your creativity become an instrument of real transformation, not just a way to escape what you don't want to face. In 2026, you will be called to use your voice more authentically than ever. Not to entertain on the surface, but to transform at the core. Your creativity will seek deeper channels, projects that truly matter, expressions that leave a legacy. And you will face a choice. Continue scattering your energy everywhere, or finally commit to what your soul truly came here to do. 2026 will be the year when those born in a year ending in 3 realize that joy does not need to hide pain. They can exist together, that you can be light without being shallow and deep without becoming heavy. Your mission in 2026 is integration, light and shadow, joy and melancholy, surface and depth. When you stop escaping your emotions through constant distraction and begin transforming them into art, into healing words, into meaningful creation, you will discover your real power. In 2026, complete something that truly matters. Do not begin 10 new things. Finish the one your soul has been quietly asking you to complete. Because when your natural creativity unites with loving discipline and clear intention, you become unstoppable. And the world is waiting to see what you will bring forth when you finally allow yourself to be fully you. Joyful and deep, light and intense, colorful and real. Now let's move to the next number, which carries a very different kind of energy. If the last digit of your birth year is 4, you carry within you the powerful force of structure, steady stability, and solid creation. A soul marked by the number 4 comes into this world with a clear mission to organize chaos, to support what is collapsing, to build firm foundations where others see only confusion. You are likely the person people turn to when everything is falling apart, because you have the rare gift of bringing order to chaos, of seeing logic where there is only disorder, of creating real possibilities where others see no way out. But this energy also carries an enormous, invisible weight. Those who hold the number 4 often feel they cannot fail, that they must endure everything alone, that they must always remain strong. From a very young age, you probably carried more responsibility than most. The example? The mature one? The one who fixes problems and holds everything together, and this often led you to carry more than you ever should have. Trying to hold the entire world on your shoulders, while few realize that you also grow tired, that you also break inside, that you also need help. The number 4 brings a practical, rational mind focused on concrete results. You value predictability, security, and knowing where you stand before taking the next step. You plan carefully, organize precisely, calculate risks, and this discipline allows you to reach goals many people never achieve. But this same need for control can trap you in rigid routines that slowly drain your joy. How many times have you stayed in relationships that no longer made sense simply because they were right? How many times have you ignored your inner voice because it didn't fit the plan? How many opportunities did you miss because they didn't align with the structure you created? Those who carry the 4 must learn that firmness is not the same as rigidity. That stability does not mean closing yourself to the unexpected. Sometimes courage means dismantling old structures so something truer can be built. And despite the rational image you present to the world, you feel very deeply inside. You simply don't show it to anyone. You keep everything carefully inside yourself. You try to always appear resolved, constantly balanced, and reliable in every situation. And because of this mask of strength you wear, many people have no idea how much you struggle internally each day. But the raw and honest truth is that even the strongest and most resistant foundations need regular care. And taking care of yourself is also a fundamental part of your mission in this world. It is not selfish. The most beautiful and admirable quality of the number 4 is that you never give up. You can fall 10 times and rise 11. You can face devastating crises, painful losses, and deep ruptures, and still continue building without stopping. This unwavering consistency is extremely rare in today's world. It is truly precious. But it must be accompanied by spiritual lightness, by real faith, by allowing yourself to improvise sometimes instead of having everything planned. Because living is not only about carefully designing every step, it is also about feeling. It is about allowing things to unfold naturally without needing to control everything. If 4 is your birthmark, fully embrace your sacred calling as a builder in this world. But always remember, the strongest and most lasting foundations are those that can adapt, that have the flexibility to adjust to the ground beneath them. You did not come only to build high, impenetrable walls around everything. You came to create safe structures where other souls can grow and flourish freely, including your own soul, which also deserves space to expand. Excessive rigidity breaks under pressure. Conscious flexibility evolves and adapts. So allow yourself sacred moments of well-deserved rest, of trusting the natural flow of life, of simply being without needing to do something productive all the time. Because when you finally learn to balance your natural strength with your vulnerable humanity, you realize you are capable of things far greater than you ever imagined possible. And the people around you begin to breathe more easily too, because they feel the foundation is steady, that it will not suddenly collapse, that they can trust you without overloading you. In 2026, those born in a year ending in 4 will be called to rebuild important foundations in their lives, but this time with greater wisdom. Perhaps it will be restoring a relationship that was in ruins. Perhaps it will be reshaping a career that no longer fulfills you. Perhaps it will be reorganizing a financial life that has become chaotic. But unlike before, in 2026, you will need to build with more flexibility, with more space for the unexpected, with deeper trust in the process. You will discover that you can be a strong pillar for your family without carrying everything alone. That you can be responsible without becoming rigid. That you can plan and also improvise when necessary. 2026 will be the year you finally understand that resting is not failure. It is intelligent strategy, that asking for help is not weakness, it is maturity, that allowing others to support you does not reduce your strength, it multiplies it. So in 2026, build, yes, but build with lightness. Be firm, yes, but also be flexible. Plan, yes, but also trust what cannot be planned. Because when you balance structure with flow, when you blend strength with softness, you become not only a builder, but the architect of a life truly worth living. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 5, then you were not born to remain still. Your soul carries the powerful vibration of freedom, constant change, and an endless search for new experience. The number 5 is like the invisible wind, unpredictable, uncontainable, impossible to imprison. People with this energy often feel an inner restlessness that is hard to explain. They are always moving, physically traveling, mentally exploring, or spiritually evolving. And because of this, they are often misunderstood. From a young age, you probably sensed that you didn't belong in rigid systems. Strict schools, corporate routines, relationships built on repetition. Anything overly fixed or monotonous can slowly suffocate you inside. And this is not because of laziness or lack of commitment, as some believe. It is because your soul desperately cries out for novelty, for constant stimulation, for infinite variety, for open space to create, explore, and move without limits. When you feel trapped in any situation, you begin to wither inside. You enter a deep existential conflict. Because for you, living is absolutely the same as experiencing, continuously learning, and constantly transforming without ever standing still. But this insatiable hunger for change can also lead you into extremely difficult and painful paths. You may abandon good things too quickly before truly giving them a chance, or dive into completely new adventures without thinking at all about the consequences. Impulsivity is both a liberating blessing and a dangerous challenge because it pulls you out of stagnant comfort zones. But it can also leave you completely exhausted with your energy scattered everywhere. Emotionally unstable. People with the number 5 urgently need to learn how to balance freedom with conscious responsibility, to fly high, but with clear direction and purpose. The absolute truth is this: you have the soul of a born explorer, a tireless pioneer. You came into this world to constantly discover the new, not only different geographical places, but revolutionary ideas, fascinating people, transforming philosophies, entire lifestyles that are completely different. Your mind is naturally open, questioning, endlessly curious. You do not accept ready-made, pre-chewed answers. You like to think for yourself with total independence. And that is exactly why you often feel 2 steps ahead while the whole world is still debating things you have already left behind, already changed direction from. And yes, you have probably been called inconsistent, emotionally unstable, unfocused, or flighty. But what few truly understand is that your consistency lives in perpetual motion. You transform constantly in order to survive and thrive. You adapt quickly so you can keep growing. You live intensely what most people only dare to imagine quietly in their secret dreams. And even when you fail badly, you learn incredibly fast from your mistakes. You begin again, wiser, more conscious, more whole than before. But here is a crucial truth you must understand deeply. True freedom is not the total absence of commitment or responsibility. It is the courage to consciously choose what truly makes sense for your soul and to genuinely commit to it. Not everything that connects you is a suffocating prison. Some connections, some aligned projects, some conscious routines can become sacred temples of expansion when they are fully aligned with your deepest essence. And when you truly find that, when you find people, projects, and places that resonate with who you really are, everything begins to flow with surprising natural ease. If the number 5 is your birthmark, fully embrace the deep call of constant change. But do not desperately run away from yourself in the process, because the greatest journey of your entire life will not be geographical. Crossing continents will be internal, exploring the deep layers of who you truly are. It will be that sacred moment when you finally stop running and say with conviction, "Now I know exactly who I am, and I can go anywhere I want with this certainty." Because when you finally find yourself, when you truly recognize who you are, freedom stops being a desperate escape from something and becomes a conscious movement towards something. You realize you can stay in constant motion without being lost in chaos. You can explore endlessly without running away from yourself. You can change deeply without repeating the same circles. This is the true extraordinary gift of the number 5. It is not only the ability to keep moving, it is knowing where you are going. It is freedom with direction, movement with intention, and change with real growth. In 2026, those born in a year ending in 5 will be called to make one of the most important choices of their life so far: to keep running or to finally find themselves. 2026 will be the year the universe asks you directly, are you moving forward or are you running from what you need to face? Are your constant changes leading somewhere real, Or are you only switching external scenery without true inner transformation? In 2026, you will need to stop long enough to look within and recognize the patterns that repeat no matter where you go. You will need to understand that some problems travel with you because they are inside, not outside. But you will also discover something deeply liberating when you truly commit to your own evolution. When you choose growth instead of mere change, you finally touch the real freedom you have always been seeking. 2026 can be the year you plant roots without losing your wings, the year you commit without feeling trapped, the year you find a home within yourself and realize you can carry that home anywhere. Accept this: motion without purpose is escape, but motion with intention is evolution. And in 2026, choose to evolve. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 6, your soul carries one of the most sensitive yet powerful energies, the pure energy of unconditional love, genuine compassion, and true service to others. Those born with this mark often have hearts that feel too big for this world, a deep sense of responsibility for the well-being of everyone around them, far beyond what is normal or expected. They are the ones who care without asking for anything in return, who feel the pain of others as if it were their own, who carry the weight of the world on their shoulders without making noise or complaining. From a very young age, you likely took on roles that were never truly yours. You cared for younger siblings, calmed intense family conflicts, became the emotional support for the entire family. And even when no one directly asked for your help, you felt an inner pull to be there, present, giving endlessly, comforting others, trying to make everything okay again. But behind all this selfless care, there is often a soul that never learned how to truly care for itself, because the number 6 gives so generously that it often forgets to ask, "What do I need? And what about me?" People with this energy naturally attract those who are broken, people who need healing, who search for a safe presence, a gentle heart, a place where they can finally be vulnerable. And you offer all of that without hesitation. You give it freely. You give it generously. But the great challenge is finally understanding this: your love cannot save everyone who enters your life. Loving deeply does not mean erasing yourself. True compassion does not mean carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. And this is one of the hardest and most painful lessons for the number 6 to learn. To create healthy boundaries without drowning in guilt. To say no when needed, without feeling that you are abandoning someone. There is a rare and precious beauty in the way you see the world. You see hidden potential where others only see failure. You see light where everything appears dark and hopeless. You carry the extraordinary gift of transforming heavy spaces, healing invisible wounds no one notices, making any place feel lighter, safer, and more loving simply by being there. But always remember, even those who care for everyone also need healing. Your heart deserves rest. Your soul deserves comfort and warmth. The energy of the number 6 is deeply connected to family, home, and ancestral roots. Perhaps you treasure deep emotional bonds, or perhaps you have suffered because you didn't experience them in the way you needed as a child. Either way, the longing for true belonging follows you throughout life. You carry a sacred mission to create genuine connection with others, with yourself, and with life itself. Just be careful not to confuse real love with destructive attachment or sincere care with hidden control. And despite all the giving you do, your own desires matter too. The world truly needs your sensitivity, yes, but it also needs your authentic voice, your personal creativity, your individual path, and your unique purpose. Loving deeply should never mean disappearing. And when you finally find that delicate balance, when you learn to say no without heavy guilt, your energy expands in a way that heals simply through your presence, without effort, without force. If the number 6 is your birthmark, embrace your beautiful mission of caring for others. But make a sacred agreement with yourself today. That care will include you too. Because when you finally take care of yourself, nourish your own soul, and honor your boundaries. That is when you truly fulfill what your soul came here to do. Spreading genuine love without completely losing yourself in the act of giving. Being the one who holds everyone while also allowing yourself to be held when you need it. Being deeply compassionate, yet asking for true reciprocity in your relationships. Loving with intensity while honoring your own sacred limits. When you finally find this balance, you do not only heal the world around you, you heal yourself in the process. And then the journey becomes lighter, more meaningful, more real, and sustainable. You realize you can be a safe home for others without becoming a prison for yourself. You can be a refuge without exhausting yourself. You can love without emptying yourself. In 2026, those born in a year ending in 6 will face one of the most important choices of their life: to continue sacrificing themselves or to finally honor themselves. 2026 will be the year you recognize how many times you said yes when your soul wanted to say no. How many times you remained in draining relationships because you feared disappointing others. How many times you placed everyone's needs above your own. And in 2026, you will be called to break this pattern once and for all. You will need to understand that walking away from those who use you is not cruelty. It is essential self-care. That saying no to what exhausts you does not make you selfish. It makes you wise. That you can remain loving and generous without becoming anyone's emotional doormat. 2026 can be the year you finally understand that you deserve to receive the same love you give so freely, that your needs matter, that caring for yourself is not a luxury, it is a necessity. So in 2026, love, yes, but love starting with yourself. Care, yes, but care for yourself with the same devotion. Give, yes, but give from abundance, not from emptiness. Because when you are full inside, when you are nourished and respected, only then can you truly transform the lives around you without destroying your own in the process. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 7, your soul clearly did not come here to live on the shallow surface of life. You carry within you a constant and deep search for true meaning, for absolute truth, for something that goes far beyond what physical eyes can see. The energy of the number 7 is introspective by nature. It is ancestral wisdom. It is genuine spirituality without masks. Those with this mark are never satisfied with what is obvious or superficial. They feel a deep need to understand the hidden why behind things, to dive into invisible layers, to dismantle everything until only pure essence remains. From a very young age, you likely realize that you did not think like the other children. While others were absorbed in the loud external world, you were trying to understand the quiet inner one. You may have been the silent, observant child filled with existential questions no one could truly answer. And because of this depth, you probably felt out of place many times, too different, even misunderstood. But this difference is exactly your spiritual mission. The number 7 carries a powerful natural connection to the unseen, to deep spirituality, to ancient ancestral wisdom. You may not follow any organized religion, yet you strongly sense that there is something greater, something guiding you, speaking to you through subtle signs, vivid dreams, and powerful intuitions. And when you truly connect with that presence, through silent meditation, contemplative art, restorative stillness, or simply stepping away from the noise of the world, everything begins to make sense. It feels as if your soul finally remembers a path it has always known. But with this depth also comes a hidden danger: isolation. The 7 naturally enjoys being alone and deeply needs moments of retreat from the world, silence, space, long pauses. And this is absolutely essential for your well-being. But when taken too far, this depth can pull you away from the real world, from practical daily life, and from genuine human connection. One of your greatest existential challenges is learning to balance deep spirituality with real presence, necessary introspection with true relationship, Inner wisdom with outer simplicity. You often become the one people come to for confession, for guidance, for deep conversations, because you carry a calming presence, a quiet clarity, a way of listening that comforts without judging. But inside, you do not always feel that way. Sometimes you are fragmented, uncertain, even lost. You simply learned how to hide it well. But the soul of the seven only truly thrives when it is honest with itself, when it dares to reveal its doubts, its vulnerability, its unanswered questions, its inner emptiness. This energy also carries a powerful thirst for learning, for transformative books, for fertile silence that gives birth to insight, for knowledge that liberates. And when you turn what you have learned into lived wisdom, when you share it generously, when you teach, guide, or support others, you fulfill one of the most beautiful purposes of your soul, to illuminate dark paths with words that rise from deep within you. If the number 7 is your birthmark, embrace your contemplative nature, but remember, the true spiritual path does not need to be lonely. There is wisdom in a sincere embrace. There is healing in a simple, honest conversation. There is spirituality in loving human presence. And when you unite your natural depth with the warmth of real connection, your soul finally finds the balance it has always been seeking. You do not need a cave on a mountaintop to be spiritual. You can live fully in the world, connected to others, and still remain deeply connected to what is sacred within you. True wisdom does not escape real life. It lives fully within it, with awareness. So allow yourself to feel solitude when it naturally arises, but also allow yourself the sincere presence of others. Allow yourself the restorative silence you deeply need, but also welcome the conversations that nourish your soul. Because when you finally balance these apparent opposites, you discover a deep peace that does not depend on external conditions, a peace that rises from within and remains even when everything around you is in chaos. And this peace is what you came to show the world, that it is possible to be in chaos without becoming chaos, to be in the storm without being swept away by it. In 2026, those born in a year ending in 7 will be called to step out of chosen isolation and share their accumulated wisdom with a world that needs it. 2026 will not be a year for endless retreat or infinite study alone. It will be a year to bring your depth to the surface, to translate wisdom into language others can understand, to become a bridge between the spiritual and the practical. You will realize that your mission is not only to seek truth for yourself, but to light the path so others may find their own truth. In 2026, introspection must transform into expression. Knowledge must become teaching. The solitary path must evolve into a shared journey. You will be asked to choose between remaining an eternal student who only gathers wisdom, or becoming a guide who generously offers what they have learned. And when you choose to share, when you give voice to silent understanding, you will discover that connection does not weaken your spirituality, it expands it endlessly. So, in 2026, meditate, yes, but also speak. Seek silence, yes, but also share. Go deep within, yes, but also reach out to those who are struggling, because your wisdom becomes complete only when it serves not just you, but humanity. Now let's move to the next number. If the last digit of your birth year is 8, you carry a powerful energy of realization, the force of material achievement, balanced with spiritual purpose. The number 8 is the perfect symbol of balance between heaven and earth, between the elevated spiritual and the concrete material. It is the pure energy of manifestation, of natural leadership, of genuine prosperity that goes far beyond money. Those born with this mark often feel, from a very young age, a deep inner drive to achieve great things, to grow constantly, and to leave a lasting legacy in this world. But what few truly understand is that this fire is not shallow ambition. It is a call from the soul, a spiritual mission disguised as material aspiration. You likely realized early that you could never be satisfied with little, with mediocrity, or with a small life. You always sought expansion, real impact, tangible results, and meaningful purpose. And because of this tireless drive, you may have felt the crushing weight of expectation, the pressure to always succeed, the fear of public failure. When the energy of 8 is not balanced within, it walks a dangerous line between visible success and deep inner exhaustion. This vibration carries a remarkable natural talent for leadership, organization, and building real structures where others only see obstacles. You are gifted at making difficult decisions, solving complex problems, and turning ideas into concrete reality. But this strength can also isolate you emotionally. It can pull you away from lightness, from rest, from simple presence. The number 8 often struggles to stop doing, to trust life, to release the need for total control. And over time, this can slowly disconnect you from your true essence. People with this vibration carry the rare gift of attracting abundance, but only when they are aligned with their deepest values. When the number 8 loses connection with the soul and lives only for the outer world, things begin to collapse in unexpected ways. Sudden financial struggles, empty relationships, paralyzing anxiety, a deep existential emptiness, even while surrounded by impressive achievements. Because true success for the 8 is not mere material accumulation. It is when outer accomplishment reflects inner truth, when prosperity holds real meaning for the soul. And yes, you likely had to grow up too soon, carry heavy responsibilities, constantly prove your worth. You may have experienced painful falls, financial losses, deep disappointments where you invested more than you should have. But all of it has been part of your spiritual education, teaching you that you can be powerful without becoming rigid, that you can be prosperous without abandoning your soul. The number 8 also carries a strong spiritual calling. Even if it doesn't appear at the beginning, at some point you will feel it clearly. That money, status, and achievements are not enough. That something inside you is asking to serve, to contribute, to uplift, to make a real difference. And when that moment arrives, when you align deep purpose with your natural power to manifest, you become nearly unstoppable. If the number 8 is your birthmark, embrace your sacred mission to build great things in this world. But always remember, the most important structure you will ever build is the one that shelters your inner peace. Reach high, pursue ambitious goals. Yes, but never lose yourself in the process. Leading the world is admirable, but leading yourself with wisdom is what truly transforms everything. Because when you finally balance your natural strength with your vulnerable humanity, when you learn that rest is not laziness, but deep intelligence, when you understand that emotions are not weakness, but valuable information for wise decisions, that is when you access an entirely new level of real power. A power that does not come only from conquering the outer world, but from being deeply aligned within. And it is this authentic state, vulnerable yet grounded, human yet powerful, that attracts the greatest opportunities, the right people, and the kind of prosperity that truly means something to your soul. Because true prosperity is not just money in a bank account, it is inner peace, it is clarity of purpose, it is knowing with certainty that your life made a real difference, that it carried meaning beyond numbers, titles, and achievements. In 2026, those born in a year ending in 8 will be called to completely redefine what success truly means to them. 2026 will not be a year to chase more empty accomplishments or stack more impressive goals. It will be a year to ask the real questions. Is what I've built serving my soul or only my ego? Is my prosperity giving me peace or only more pressure? Is my success aligned with my values or am I living someone else's expectations? In 2026, you will need the courage to release achievements that no longer serve you, even if they impress others. You may need to walk away from lucrative paths that do not nourish your soul. You will be asked to choose peace over power, meaning over status, purpose over prestige, And this will feel frightening because the 8 often builds identity around achievement. But when you finally allow yourself to succeed on your soul's terms, not the world's, when you define prosperity as inner alignment instead of external numbers, you unlock the true transformative power of the number 8. Conquer, yes, but conquer what truly matters. Prosper, yes, but in a way that nourishes your soul, not only your account. Lead, yes, but begin by leading your own life with wisdom and compassion. Because when you balance heaven and earth, spirit and matter, strength and softness, you finally become what you were always meant to be, not only a builder of outer worlds, but a master of your own inner life. Now let's move to the final number. If the last digit of your birth year is 9, you carry one of the highest and most intense vibrations in existence, the vibration of universal compassion, ancient wisdom, and the completion of great cycles. The number 9 represents the end of a long journey, the closing of a vast process of learning that began long before this life and continues through this incarnation. Those born with this mark often feel, without fully understanding why, a deep sensitivity to the suffering of the world, as if your heart is always open, always exposed, aching for everything it touches. From a very young age, you may have felt a strange presence following you, an invisible sorrow, a weight without a clear source, a sadness that had no obvious reason. You may have felt different, as if you were carrying a hidden mission greater than any career, title, or achievement could define. And that feeling is true. Those who carry the energy of 9 come to serve, to heal, and to teach. You are often the one others turn to when they are lost, broken, or searching for meaning. Your presence carries quiet wisdom, gentle comfort, and a depth that restores hope. But inside, you do not always feel that strong. Sometimes you give too much. Sometimes you feel the pain of others too deeply. Sometimes you carry burdens that were never meant to be yours. And because of this, one of the greatest lessons for the 9 is learning to offer yourself the same love you so freely give to the world. The 9 holds a powerful natural connection to transformative social causes, deep spiritual work, and noble humanitarian missions. You may find yourself deeply involved in meaningful projects with people in need, hearing touching stories that move you at a visceral level. But the great challenge is learning not to lose yourself entirely in constant giving, not to carry the suffering of the whole world on your fragile shoulders simply because you came to help transform lives. Yes, you came to heal and uplift, but not to completely sacrifice yourself in the process. Your pain matters too. Your rest is sacred too. Your well-being is essential too. People who carry this vibration often go through significant and painful losses, intense and transformative relationships, and powerful, final goodbyes. Because the 9 arrives with a specific purpose, to close important cycles. Not only your own personal cycles, but also those of the people around you. Very often, you become the necessary bridge between what must end and what is waiting to be born, between what needs to die definitively and what can finally begin in freedom. And this demands remarkable emotional strength, deep spiritual resilience, and a maturity you were often forced to develop far earlier than was fair or expected. The most beautiful and transformative expression of this energy is this. The more you accept your natural sensitivity instead of suppressing it, the more it turns into radiant light. You begin to see clearly that your presence heals environments, that your words touch souls, that your story can become the very path others need to find meaning in their own pain. You become both a faithful mirror and a guiding lighthouse. But this only fully unfolds when you honor your own journey with the same deep compassion you so freely offer to others. If the number 9 is your birthmark, fully embrace your humanitarian and spiritual mission. But always remember, closing cycles does not mean erasing yourself in the process. It means transforming with awareness. And that is exactly why you came, to be a living example of this possible transformation. to be a living bridge between what was painful and what can still be beautiful, to show the world that loss can generate unexpected growth, that goodbyes open the necessary space for new beginnings, that suffering, when transformed into wisdom, becomes a precious gift to the world. You are not here to save anyone in a messianic way. You are here to demonstrate, through your own life, that it is entirely possible to move through pain without being eternally defined by it. And when others witness you doing this, when they see your vulnerability existing in harmony with your strength, something deep awakens within them as well, because you prove unmistakably that it is possible to be sensitive and still be powerful, to be compassionate and still hold healthy boundaries, to be open to the world and still protect yourself. You teach that serving others does not mean forgetting yourself, that healing the world begins by healing yourself first, that giving love must also include sacred self-love. In 2026, those born in a year, ending in 9, will be called to the most important closing of their lives so far. 2026 will be the year when old cycles finally complete themselves in a definitive way, when repetitive patterns stop repeating, when you finally free yourself from ancestral weights you have carried for too long. But this closing will not be easy or gentle. It will require you to let go of relationships that have already fulfilled their purpose, to release expectations that were never truly yours, to deeply forgive even yourself for everything you believe you should have done differently. 2026 may be the year you finally understand that you don't need to carry the pain of the whole world to have value, that your sensitivity is a gift and not a curse, that you can serve others without completely emptying yourself. You will be asked to make a conscious choice, to continue being a martyr who sacrifices themselves, or to finally become a healer who is also healed in the process. In 2026, close the cycles that need to end, but do it with honor, with gratitude, with peace. Let go of what needs to leave, but celebrate everything you learned along the way. And when the old cycles finally close for good, you will discover something deeply liberating. You can begin new cycles without carrying the full weight of the old ones. You can love again without the fear of past losses. You can serve again, but now from abundance rather than from emptiness. Because in 2026, the 9 finally understands that the greatest act of compassion begins with oneself, that the deepest transformation is one's own, and that when you heal yourself first, you naturally heal the world as well. Now that you've reached this point, many things may already be starting to make sense. Situations you lived through and could not fully understand. Cycles that mysteriously repeated. Decisions that once seemed completely irrational, but now appear perfectly logical when seen through this new lens. Because the truth is, this number was always there, working constantly and subtly, guiding your path from the very first day. It is not a final prison sentence. It is not a fixed or unchangeable destiny. It is a valuable clue. It is a master key. It is a deep reflection of what your soul chose to experience in this particular existence. You may not consciously remember, but a deep part of you chose to be here in this moment. You chose to be born in the exact year you were born, carrying the number you carry, because this energy represents an essential lesson, a necessary learning. To deny it would be like rejecting a precious gift, a detailed map, a sacred reminder of why you are here living this specific life. And when you begin to recognize this vibration moving within you, everything shifts in perspective. You stop blaming yourself so much for being who you are. You stop destructively comparing yourself to others. You begin to accept yourself with greater ease, with clearer thinking, and with genuine compassion toward yourself. So many people spend their entire lives desperately asking, "Why me? Why does this always happen to me?" And sometimes the answer is right there, in plain sight, in the final digit of your birth year. This number reveals the kind of energy that accompanies you through life, the challenges you are likely to face, the precious gifts you carry, even without realizing you possess them. And when you finally understand this at a deeper level, you start to move much more consciously, choosing with accumulated wisdom, living with a clearer and more defined sense of purpose. But let me be completely honest with you. This does not mean that everything will suddenly become easy, that you understand your number and instantly life turns into a perfect fairy tale. Number. Life will still be made of difficult choices, courageous attempts, painful mistakes, and meaningful successes. But with this deeper awareness, you walk far more consciously than before, more awake to patterns, more connected to your true essence. Because when you completely ignore this energy, everything remains heavy and stuck. You feel disconnected from yourself, lost without direction, as if you were always swimming against a strong current. But when you truly embrace this vibration, when you consciously align with it, things begin to flow with surprising ease. Answers arrive at the right moment, doors open unexpectedly, and even challenges take on a new, transformative meaning. Think about this honestly. How many times have you felt like you were living the same story all over again? That certain patterns mysteriously repeated? That certain emotions rose like giant waves coming out of nowhere? That some relationships always followed the same familiar path? None of this is random or meaningless. These are clear signs that an important lesson is waiting there. A cycle that urgently needs to be closed. A deep call from your soul to remember who you truly are and to finally live the life you actually came here to live. So now that you know all this, now that you have decoded this energetic vibration, what are you going to do with this powerful awareness? Will you ignore everything and continue living on unconscious autopilot? Or will you use this understanding to radically transform your life, your relationships, and your most important choices? The decision, as always, is entirely yours and no one else's. But know this with absolute certainty. This awareness will not disappear. Because once the soul truly awakens to its own nature, it can no longer return to a deep sleep. You will start to notice these patterns everywhere. You will now recognize this energy moving through you in everyday moments, and this is the beginning of true conscious transformation. If this video touched you in some deep way, if it stirred something inside you, leave a like right now. This helps YouTube share these transformative messages with more people who truly need to hear them. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content like this that can completely shift your perspective on who you are and why you are here. And do me a favor. Do a favor for yourself as well. Leave a comment down below telling me where you are watching from right now. I want to see how this message traveled across the world, and more importantly, I want to know what revelation you had today. What is your number? And how does it explain so many things about your life that you were never able to understand before? Because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear in order to finally awaken too. Someone may be reading the comments right now, looking for confirmation, looking for courage, looking for a sign that they are not alone on this journey, and your honest experience can become that sign. So share it with me. Share it with this beautiful community that is forming here. What is the last digit of your birth year? And what did you discover about yourself today that changed everything? And please don't keep this just to yourself. If you have friends, family, or people you love who are lost and searching for answers, share this video with them now. Send it to the person you know needs to hear this urgently. Because sometimes a simple video like this can become the turning point someone has been waiting for years. It can be the light that finally turns on in the middle of the darkness. It can be the answer that frees someone from destructive patterns repeating for decades. You now have the power to do that, to be an instrument of transformation in someone's life. So use that power with wisdom and with love. And always remember, you are not here by accident. You were not born in the year you were born by random coincidence. You do not carry the number you carry without a deep reason. All of this is part of a greater plan, a sacred journey, a mission that only you can fulfill in the unique way that only you can. So honor that, respect that, live it fully. Because when you finally align yourself with your true vibration, when you stop resisting who you are and start fully embracing your essence, your entire life can change in ways you could never have imagined before. And 2026 is waiting for you, waiting to see who you will choose to become when you finally understand who you have always been from the very beginning. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, your destiny is not written in the stars. It is written in the last digit of the year you were born. Use that knowledge with wisdom